Hello, hello, here I am. A couple minutes late, but actually quite on time. Came to walk down here to this river, and walking a little slower these days than I used to walk, so misjudged the timing a little bit. But here I am with my latest and last update for my Babs and the Heroine's journey. I might as well start this video the same way I started every other one and always said I wouldn't, which is, it's been a long time since I've come on here and left you a video, and I promise I'll come on more often. It just is what it is, right? And I think the last time I put a video here, it was October, and I was up in New Hampshire, and I had come back east to be home while my niece was going to have a baby. And that's what called me back east. So I think I just gave some spoilers, didn't I? And somebody in the chat, in the comments, when I said, guess where I ended up, did give it away too. Because my journey cross country to find out where I'm going to land quite literally led me back right where I started. So I'm back in Massachusetts, and this river is the Concord River, which is the river I grew up alongside. Mary! Hey, Mary! Oh my goodness. I wish you were here with me right now. We could just chat. Anyway, just thinking about you and all the times in the past. Anyway, so I'm back in Massachusetts in my hometown. And and some part of me does, I could consider this kind of a defeat, maybe. Like I did all of that, and I ended up back here. But here's the truth. I mean, I'm here now, and as far as ended up, what does that even mean, right? Jesus. I'm here now. I'm here for an undeterminate amount of time. And I also know that this isn't where I'm going to stay. I know I need a new address, so to speak. When I write my return address on things. Although, do we even do that anymore? We do, right? Because when we order stuff online, you put your address in. Okay, so that counts. I was thinking of an actual handwritten envelope. Who does that anymore? But I have to not write Massachusetts anymore. It's like, that's the past, kind of. And God, I've changed so freaking much over the past lifetime, but also a few years especially. It's been a lot that's gone on for me, and so I know that I need to just be in a different zip code, different environment. And also, I'm kind of done with the heavy duty winters, although this winter in New England has been very mild. Anyway, so I ended up back here, literally from the exact same place I left. Leanne's here. Hey, Leanne. Aw. So when I set out a year and a half ago, and yes, it was that long ago, it was in 2021, in the summer, that I hit the road and started doing these videos and was talking to everybody. And what I was saying was, I felt like there was a magnet out west that I was feeling pulled towards, and that once I found it, I would know it, and that's where I would settle. Well, best laid plans, right? That didn't happen. It was a very different journey than I thought it was going to be. And that's the lesson, right? Like, I could consider this a defeat if I chose to look at it that way, as if it was goal oriented, right? Like my goal was to move somewhere, and that's what I thought. And that's what got me into action, actually. If I had thought that what was going to happen is what has happened, would I have actually done it? I don't know. Would I have just stayed here and been like, well, if I'm going to end up back here, I might as well stay here. And I would have missed out on a lot. So I'm grateful, actually, for it. You can't hear me. Mary, can you hear me? I think you can, because you said hi. And Kelly's here. Kelly, can you hear me? Will you just let me know if you hear me? Hopefully you do. That would be funny if I did this whole video and there was no sound. That would somehow be fitting. So I don't think I ever would have done it. Oh, Mary, you can. Thank you so much for that. Okay. So I've often told this to my clients too, right? Like when you have a goal, there's all this talk about goal setting, and I agree with, it's good to have goals, because here's the thing. Let me see a couple of comments. And Kelly can too. Great. Thank you both for letting me know that. Goals are great because they get you in action, and you have to be able to let go of the goal when that's right for you. So as you know, I was hitting the road to thinking that I was relocating out west, right? And that had been a multi-decade desire of mine to live out west. But what I realized, all the places I went, and yeah, there's a short list of places I could see myself moving to. Actually, I mean, I could move anywhere. Every place. What I realized, one of the things, and this is one of those philosophy of the obvious things, every place is just a place. And yeah, there are places that are going to be a better match for me than others, but I could move in any place. So it really does get you thinking about, what do I really want where I live, you know? And what I learned about out west, which is a vast area, is that in general, it's really extreme in terms of weather, you know? Like the drought is for real out there, the heat, the rain, the weather, the fires. And so I realized I don't really want to live in that kind of an environment. That's extreme. If I were younger, if I was in my 30s, I probably would. But now that I'm 60, I'm just kind of like, I don't want to deal with harshness like that. So then I found out a year ago, January, that my niece was pregnant. And I was like, I knew I needed or wanted to come back here to be around for when she had her baby. So that's what I did. I came back in July, and then realized that it's right for me to stay here for a while to sort of help out and be available and be present for some family things. And so that's what I'm doing. And it feels right. And I can't quite believe it. And like I said, I know it's the right thing to do. So that's what I'm doing. And meanwhile, as you know, I've changed the name of my Facebook page, my business page, from Babs and the Heroine's Journey to Embodied Story Alchemy. And that's a whole thing, because my work, you know, when I was traveling, part of what I did and part of what I shared here was that I closed my business that I had for, 13 years here in Massachusetts. That was hands-on body work, craniosacral work, and I closed that. So I knew I needed to reestablish my business. And so then I traveled for like a year and a half, right? And so I thought that I was going to be able to establish a virtual business while I was on the road. Not the way it worked out. So now I really need to and want to get my business going again. And my work has shifted a lot. I started out as a physical therapist, and ended up learning and finding that my work is actually here to help people heal from trauma, which is not at all physical therapy, right? Physical trauma, yes, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to help people that have experienced emotional trauma and severe trauma like I have in my childhood. So I'm finally owning that, you guys, and it feels good. And it's amazing how much I've struggled with that. But so this embodied story alchemy work, those three components to it: embodiment, story, and alchemy. Embodiment means coming home to your body, because your story is in your body. So it's not like you have to, like I often say, you have to meet your story in your body. It's like your story's in your body. Your body, there's that book that you may have heard of, Your Body Keeps the Score. And that's the thing. Our bodies hold all of our histories, right? Does that mean you have to go into your body and remember every single thing that ever happened to you? No, definitely not. I mean, that's part of what the body serves, is the purpose of just metabolizing things for you. However, when there's something that you've experienced that your higher self, your higher wisdom kind of knows that you need to reckon with, right? Like me, it'll show up in some way or another through some kind of symptom, chronic pain, anxiety, depression. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And it even includes like relationship issues, financial issues, things like that, right? So embodiment, and what happens when we have traumatic things or when there's stuff that we're not able to be with, it's like we leave our bodies, right? So we're not fully home. So embodiment is about the process of coming back home into your body. And it's not an easy process, because we leave for damn good reasons, right? So the work that I do with people is help. It's like creating safety, and that's what where BABS comes from. It stands for Badass Baseline Safety. And part of my journey has been realizing how much fear I carried in my body from what I experienced as a kid. And my journey to heal that has created this place of coming deeper and deeper into a place of baseline safety. So that's where the BABS comes from, and it's about embodiment, learning how to be in your body, how to feel all the feelings that are there and stuff. And it's big, it's serious, so that's the work that I love doing with people. And the story piece, I'm sorry that I keep jostling the phone, but my arm's getting tired. The story piece, there's so much support in our culture for not going there, quote, not owning your story, like, oh, just leave the past behind you, just let that go, don't dwell, don't wallow, blah, 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 all of those things, right? And if that worked, great. I'd be all for it if it worked, but it doesn't. It doesn't, if it were that easy, then you wouldn't have to think about it, you would just, there wouldn't be a there to not go there, right? So what I've learned, and my journey has been, like, I didn't remember my story. And I know a lot of people in my life right now that are sharing with me, same thing. Like, I don't remember my childhood. I know there are things that I don't remember that I know I need to deal with. And it's scary, right? And so my real deep work that I'm here to do with people, I'm really getting, is about story, is about, I'll tell you, there's nothing more sacred and holy than when someone says to you, I've never told anybody this before, and then they tell you. And it's such a powerful experience for me to hear, and for them to be able to finally tell somebody, and to be held in a field of acceptance and love and power. Like, not, oh my God, you poor thing, that's not the energy at all. It's like, wow, you experienced that, and look at you here, So I'm creating this embodied story alchemy work that I'm creating in this container. Like, I'm going to have it Instagram, all the things, Instagram, I'm creating a YouTube channel, and all this series of videos will be on there. And I'll be doing more stuff on Facebook about story, like me telling more of my story. I'm trying to learn how to tell my story. I'm working on writing a book, and telling other people's stories. Of course, I would never tell a story that is confidentiality, but, just in the news, you hear stories, right? And so many things, so many stories. And there's so many people that never get to tell their stories. So I'll be telling other people's stories and creating space for other people to speak their stories. Because the other thing about not sharing our stories, you guys, is that then the people that do these things, they get away with it. There's silence. It's like impunity. And here's the other thing, though, about it. My model, it's not like punishment. It's not like we have to kill, we have to punish all these people that do these horrible things. We have to stop the horrible things is what we have to do. And clearly the punishment model's not working, So the people that are doing these things, like, what is wrong with them that they do? Like, what could possibly be going on with a man that he pays money to rape a child? Right? Like, that happened, you guys. The Super Bowl, did you know this? The Super Bowl is the biggest sex trafficking event of the year. Sex traffickers fly from all over the world to go to the site where the Super Bowl is. And why is that? Because there's a market for it. So, for me, those people that are paying they won't call it rape, of course, because they don't want to think of themselves as that. But if there's somebody who's being sex trafficked, meaning they don't have a say in it, maybe a woman, maybe a man, maybe a boy, a child, and someone's paying to rape that person, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, you guys. And as long as we don't tell these stories and give a voice to these people that experience that, people that survive it, and people that don't survive it, because people don't survive it, you guys. And so I want to give voice to all of this, So that's the story piece. So there's, as you can tell in my voice, there's a passion behind this, And then the alchemy piece, if you're not familiar with the word alchemy, like historically or legendarily, if you will, alchemy is this process where there were supposedly people that could turn, I think, lead into gold, right? There was this whole study of how to turn lesser things into, base materials or materials that weren't valuable into valuable materials, right? And so what I've learned, the alchemy of healing is that, you go into all the stuff, all the wounding, all the darkness. And it's not about staying there. It's not about being in victimization of it. It's about flipping it into the power, the superpowers that you have now because of the fact that you survived that. And it's never like, oh yeah, I'm so glad that happened. Although last year I did have a moment where for the first time I realized, would I change anything? It's a big question, right? Would I change? Of course, if I could go back and not have it happen, I would. And because of what happened to me, like my life is what it is today. All the people I've encountered in my healing journey, all the things I've learned, the process of me having to go really deep and learning to know myself better and all of that, like that's the alchemy of it. So I'm finding my power and the best version of who I am through this journey of healing it, So that's the alchemy of it. So yeah, I'm in the process of figuring out what to do with all of this. I am back sort of opening my doors for healing work. I don't have a physical space, so I'm not going to be doing hands-on work yet, although I'm looking for that just one day a week. But virtual sessions online, the deep work, you can do the process work, I'm going to be doing that. So if you or anybody is looking for some help navigating some difficult waters, give them my information. I have a new website about to launch actually this week, BarbaraGoslin.com. And so, I'm back doing all of that. So anyway, I feel like I've gone on here for a bit. Let me see if there's any comments. Okay, just hearing you. So I'm going to be signing off Babs and the Heroine's Journey. And, if I could impart one thing, I think it's like follow your heart and let go of where you think you're supposed to end up. And because if you open, like, I feel like where I'm ending up, it depends on how I interpret it. If I just look at it as like, wow, I'm back living in Billerica, at my mother's house and all of that, that's one way to look at it. That's a disempowered way of looking at it, right? Or I can look at it as like, wow, look at that. Look what I just did. And I know it's right to be back here, helping out my family in this way. And, being here now in this way, it's an empowered choice, right? And then what's next? And what can happen now while I'm here, So, yeah, so that's all I have to say. I would love to hear how this lands for you, any thoughts that come up. And I will be posting these all on YouTube. It's going to be Embodied Story Alchemy channel on YouTube, I think. So, they'll be here to be watched. And I feel like a different person, and I'm so grateful. It's been a hell of a journey. Lots of ups and downs, emotional roller coaster, and I feel like a deeper version of myself than I've ever been. So big love to you. And I just wish you the best in your journey. All right. Love. Bye. All right. Here I go again. This is my classic ending. How do I end this thing? Where's the button? Oh, there it is. All right. Big love to you.